Hello there, I'm Christodeus, also known as Quisto Bart. Welcome to this new episode of Nerdgasm. At a time where people were storing music on big vinyl discs and Russia was terrifying us with nuclear war. Okay, it's pretty like today, but it was the 80s. There was a console that fascinates me as a kid. This console was the jewel of my childhood, the NAS. This is the story of the console I had before that. And it was junk.
Hi, Space Kids. Star Pilot Philips here.
And Cosmo.
With our Philips Videopac TV game computer.
Jack Star Pilot, but the Philips Videopac isn't just the sappiest video games, it also makes music.
Real computer training.
And a real keyboard, real controls.
Cosmo, this Philips Videopac is so advanced, it's frightening.
That's because it's got the mind of a computer and the thrills of a star pilot.
Cosmo, Philips want you to have the best.
This video system was called in Austria and German the Philips G7000, but in America they call it the Magnavox Odyssey 2. In Japan they also called it the Odyssey 2. This console came with an Intel 8048H processor with a TAC frequency of 5.91 MHz. The processor has 64 bytes of RAM. The processor has 64 bytes of RAM. So it was, when it came out in the late 70s, early 80s, outdated. But that wasn't the worst part. No, the worst part was the graphics and the sound. The unbelievable, annoying sound. Listen yourself. Yes, it was that bad. And the controls were horrible too. Most of the time I have no idea what I have to do. And when I figure it out, the game was over. And when the controllers were broken, and they were, you have to send in the whole console, because there were no way to plug them out. Only the American version has unpluggable controllers. And don't let me start about the keyboard. This was a really horror show. So the buttons you have to push with so many strength that my thumbs hurts after it. They get red. I ruined my thumbs in that days. And this ends my video game career. Forever. So, there was really no fun to play with this thing. And in the European version, there was no off button. So when you want to switch the game, you have to unplug it. Or pull the game out when it runs. But this works. There was also an option to program your own video games stuff with this console, but the problem was you can't save it. This gets fixed by a later model called Philips G7000, which also comes with a monitor. The console I had was connected to a television, and in the early 80s that was no fun at all. Philips made more or less 60 games for this console, and there were many more from other publishers. For every popular Atari game in this time period, there was a rip-off of it for this console. There were also a magazine around this thing and about the games you can play on it. When I was a kid, this was all we have. And it don't matters that it never made fun. Because when you have no alternatives, you use what you have. And this was it. So when you next time cry your eyes out because Ubisoft released the next big AAA open world game that makes no fun, think of a little quiz, this little boy who has nothing else to play as this console you see here. So this is it. So this is it. So this is it for today. Thank you. If you enjoyed this episode, please give the abo button a push, but not too hard, because, you know, it hurts the thumb.